This is the Giga mod, where the health of every single zombie is doubled, and we're gonna find out if you can still beat the game without the use of any sun producing plant, so without further ado, let's begin. We start this challenge off with level 1-2, since 1-1 doesn't even give us a chance of planting down sunflowers. We can also put pea shooter on S tier, since without him, beating this challenge wouldn't be even possible. Sunflowers are obviously not allowed. Level 1-3 was slightly harder because we couldn't really abuse the glitch where the game waits for us until we plant down our first sunflowers, so zombies just kept on spawning earlier, and on top of that we also had to deal with conehead zombies, which normally would require the use of a cherry bomb, but I beat the entire level without using a cherry bomb, so just that. While we're speaking of cherry bombs, I'm gonna put them in straight A tier since they can be quite effective, but at the same time, they're not that great because they're so expensive. Level 1-4 forces us to defend 5 lanes now, but thankfully we've unlocked Walnut by now, which I will put in a solid A tier since he's really effective and he doesn't cost that much. Oh, by the way, this level was also beaten without the use of a cherry bomb. Level 1-6 introduces Giga Pole Vaulting Zombie, and you should really be careful with him because he has a lot of HP in this mod. This level also unlocked this potato mine, which, I'm gonna be honest, he's one of the best plans in this entire challenge, because he's so cost effective, he doesn't cost you anything, and he does so much. Honestly, I don't even think you could beat this challenge without potato mines, so he's gonna go straight in S tier. Level 1-7 is typically a level where I get hard stuck on, depending on the challenge or mod I'm playing. I was kinda surprised to see myself beat it on the second attempt here, thanks to Snoopy, which by the way deserves a spot on C tier since he's quite good, but he's also very niche because he's so expensive. We've reached level 1-8, where Giga Buckethead zombies get introduced first, and remember that they don't die to singular explosions, so you're gonna have to combine your pea shooters with your potato mine if you want to take him out. This is also the level where we unlock Chomper, and for the sake of not making the Giga mod too easy on us, he will be banned for this challenge. In level 1-9 I realized that playing with Repeater just wasn't possible. He was just too expensive, and he also just gets outclassed by Snoopy, which is a little bit cheaper but also slows zombies down. You've also probably realized that we skipped through Walnut Bowling earlier, because every single X5 and X10 level doesn't require the use of its sunflower anyways, so it would be pointless to include them in this video. We've entered the night stage now, and with the night comes Pushroom, and Pushroom by far is the strongest plant in this entire challenge, and even outside this challenge, Pushroom is just broken. He wins you every single night level, and even outside night, when you're playing on day levels, he's still very good because he doesn't cost you anything and he can be used as cannon fodder, so that's a really easy S tier. Sunshroom is obviously also going to be banned in this challenge. Also Giga Bucketheads, which take around 12 Pushrooms for you to deal with them, so we're just gonna have to let our lawnmowers do our work. Level 2-3 introduces Giga Screen to shield zombies. I'm not gonna lie, having more HP than a Buckethead is kinda scary, but luckily for us, this level only has one wave. Also gonna put Fume Shroom in B tier because he's the plant you need to upgrade into a Green Shroom, and honestly that's the only reason why he's not unplayable. Level 2-4 is really hard because you have to survive 2 flags with Screen or Shield zombies. I was able to beat it on my first attempt, which is still amazing to me. We also have to talk about Gravebuster here, since for the entirety of the whole challenge, he isn't even playable. You only have 50 sun to work with at night, and any stage outside of night doesn't even feature any gravestones, so yeah, completely unplayable. There's also Giga Football Zombie, which I made a mistake of wasting a potato mine on him. I didn't realize how tough he was. But yeah, it's better just to sacrifice a lawnmower on him. Also, we're gonna put Hypnoshroom in the ban tier list because we are playing the Giga mod. And I know technically he wouldn't be that good because you can't play him on night and he sucks on day, but we're still gonna keep it consistent and just keep him banned. Level 2-7 was a real nightmare, and I kinda realized that the gray zones are messing me up here. and I couldn't really do anything about it because upon restarting my level, the Graystones would just respawn at the exact same point. Well, luckily for me, the Graystones do respawn, but you have to restart your game for that, so yeah, I kinda restarted my game until I got an optimal layout. Finding the right layout, I was still struggling on the level, and so I just decided to use safe scumming. In case you're not familiar with safe scumming, what it basically is just setting save states mid-game, so each time something bad happens, you can just go back in time and redo the stage. And here's Gaddy's room, which is a really underrated plant, by the way. He's a 25 cost pea shooter, which is amazing in this challenge and just good overall. Okay, here's Giga Dancing Zombie, but compared to the last level, this really wasn't that hard. Although unplayable, Ice Room is actually a pretty decent pick when entering the roof stage, so I would give it a solid B tier. Now this got me really upset. Dancing Zombie can mess you up a lot when you don't have a lawnmower in the lane. Level 2-9 for some reason really wasn't that hard. It must be the dancing zombies, which reduced the difficulty of the level by a lot. Nonetheless, we're gonna put Doomshrim as the same tier as Ice Room because he's kinda similar to where he isn't playable in the night and fog stages, but you can play him in roof later on, so he's pretty decent. Level 3-1 was actually really easy because we only had to defend 4 lanes in the early game. Also, Lilypad is pretty essential here, so yeah, that's gonna go straight in S tier. No surprise. Level 3-2 wasn't the hardest either, and also Squash in this challenge was really good. Since he can kill a lot of grouped up zombies, but he isn't essential to beating the game, so he only goes in A tier. Level 3-3 is where it got interesting. As you could see, this is the introduction level for the Giga Snorkel zombies. Also, unfortunately for us, we also got 3-peater, which, by the way, is not a good plant in this challenge. He's just way too expensive and way too late to do anything, so he's completely unplayable, even worse than Repeater. When knowing I had to approach level 3-4, I was kinda panicking since this level is always really bad in any PvZ mod or even in any PvZ challenge. So I had to do something, and what I ended up doing is go to the minigames, play the Walnut Bowling minigame, and buy myself the 8 seed slot with the money. Also, we have to raid Kangle Kelp, and similar to Potato Mine, he is a really good plant because of his cost efficiency, but he isn't really necessary to beat the game, so he goes straight to A tier. Okay, this is where we first encountered Giga Zamboni, and I was kinda surprised to how strong he was in this challenge. Normally you would have a lot of sun to deal with him by just using 2 instas. But right here we have to preserve each and every sun we have, so gotta watch out for him. Jalapeno can be used as a lawnmower replacement for the final waves, so I'll be putting him in B tier. Okay, level 3-7 was by far the hardest pool level, and you have to be really careful with your resources. But if playing everything very optimized, you'll be able to beat it barely. Because of how expensive and how outclassed Spikeweed is compared to Potato Mine, I'm gonna put him in the unplayable tier. He's also just not good at dealing damage, because you're gonna need about 4 Spikeweeds to just kill a single basic zombie. So it's overall not worth it. Giga Dolphin zombies on paper sound really dangerous and strong. Thankfully, 25 Sun with a Tangle Kelp will just kill him, so he really wasn't that big of a deal. Unfortunately, Torchwood is just completely useless in this challenge. It's not even worth thinking about, so he just straight up goes into unplayable. Level 3-9 was another pain in the ass. This level was so bad, you had 3 waves of Zambonis and Dolphin zombies, so the only way you can win this is if you're being really resourceful with your sun, by spending a lot of potato mines and just keeping everything as efficient as you can. Unfortunately, Tallnut wasn't really made for this challenge, so he has to go in the unplayable tier. He's just too expensive. We enter the fork stage now, and this entire world was by far the hardest in the entire challenge. It's not because we can't see stuff, it's because Seashroom is super slow. It made this challenge just so much harder. In addition to being really hard, this world also requires a lot of RNG, especially when you play into your waves. You need to be lucky where the coneheads spawn, you also need to be lucky about the ambush zombies, which, by the way, can just spawn you a couple of buckethead zombies. Planton is special in a sense that we can afford him with 25 sun, but he doesn't really affect the field, so he's still unplayable. Giga Balloon Zombie is so horrible in this challenge. He's gonna make you suffer so much because of the amount of RNG you're gonna need. Cactus unfortunately also wasn't made for this challenge. You can't play him in a fork, and a day, or on roof. He's just an expensive pea shooter or cabbage pulled. Level 4-4 was an absolute nightmare. You had to deal with balloon zombies as well as dolphin zombies. And if that wasn't bad enough, Gigaconet zombies in the water would just kill you because you wouldn't have any sea shrimps left. This level took me so many hours to complete, even after a while when I used safe scumming. It still took me so long just to get the necessary RNG needed to beat this. Lover, for obvious reasons, belongs in the unplayable tier. Here we have a Giga Digger zombie. Tried to say that fast, by the way. He was actually really easy to beat. Floor 7 wasn't actually that hard to beat. Just gotta restart sometimes if the RNG is bad. If you get too many bucket heads in the water, for example, you're just gonna lose and there's nothing you can do about it. Yay, another planet we can't possibly play. Okay, Gigapogo zombies are really interesting in this challenge. It turns out that a full lane with 9 mushrooms can't even kill them, so what I did here is just sacrifice my lawnmowers and hope that a balloon zombie won't go in the same lane. But the next level is gonna have 2 waves, so it's gonna be a lot harder. Here we go. This level took me the most time to complete of any other level in this challenge. And it's just a far worse version of 4-4. Now we had to deal with pogo zombies, which couldn't even be killed with 9 mushrooms. So I had to come up with a plan that doesn't involve a lot of safe scumming or just tassing. Mentioned before, mushrooms couldn't kill the pogo zombie even if you had all mushrooms in the lane. My solution to this was actually pretty insane. If pogo is fronting your plant, you can use your shovel to remove the plant and give the pogo a slight stun, which if done correctly can cause the pogo to just barely die before it reaches your house. Remember to find the correct seed that spawns the minimal amount of balloon zombies as well as pogo zombies to make this level easier for you. Quite amazingly, Magnishroom isn't even that useless because you're gonna unlock Coffee Bean soon and he can be really good in the roof levels, especially against football zombies. Well, here we are. We finally entered the roof stage. With Cabbage Pot on our side too, which by the way is an S tier plant. He's just so cost effective and so good for the challenge that I have to put him in S tier. This level wasn't particularly hard either, because Cabbage Pot is just very efficient and Potato Mine and just Squash, honestly, are gonna carry the rest. Do I even have to explain why Flower Pot is an S tier? Level 5-3 first introduces Giga Ladder zombies to us. He's really hard to kill, especially since Potato Mine doesn't even have time to set up since he's so fast. What I figured out was to just stall him with a mushroom and flower pot cycle until he loses his head eventually to the cabbage pult. When I tested out Kernel Pult, he just turned out to be a worse cabbage pult since he doesn't do any damage. This was quite embarrassing here. Instead of letting my lawnmower go to gain a lot of tempo to build up my setup, I instead lost my Gloomshroom and therefore my run by just using a coffee bean and a magnet shroom early. Later I tried this run without any magnet shrooms and it ended up working out. Also, Coffee Bean is a really good plant, but it's one of those plants where I'm not sure if you could beat the level and the game without that plant, so I can't really put him in S tier, but he'll be deserving a solid A tier. At level 5-6, we first encounter Giga Catapult Zombie, which by the way has a hidden ability in case you didn't know. He deals increased damage and can therefore two-shot most of your plants. Garlic is actually really good and you're gonna find out why in level 5-9. Level 5-7 was actually kinda hard because 3 flags meant a very high zombie density. But thankfully, Doomshroom was just so broken and carried the whole level for us. Umbrella Leaf is actually so good to deal with bungee zombies and catapult zombies, especially in no sunflower runs. In level 5-8, I kinda wanted to do an experiment and see if Kernel Pult is actually good against Giga Gigantua, since he kinda struggles against zombie swarms. It ended up being a success, and as you can see, I was even able to kill the first Giga Gigantua. Alright, I don't think anyone will ever wonder why Marigold will go to the absolute trash tier. We've entered the last and final level of this challenge. Unfortunately, Doomshroom wasn't able to clutch it out this time. The zombies just kept breaking through our defense, especially because of the sheer zombie density. Before we continue though, let's just give Melon Pult the tier he deserves. So I had to come up with a solution, and it kinda looked something like this. It would solve my density problem, and it's also cheap at the same time, so in theory this should work. Alright, there you have it. It is in fact possible to beat the Giga mod without any sun producing plant. This video took me a considerable amount of time to make, so I'd be really happy if you guys could leave a follow or even a like. This is gonna show me that you guys enjoy this type of content. Overall, despite the immense amount of suffering you'll experience, this challenge, minus a few levels, is really cool, fun and challenging to play. Would I recommend you play this though? No.